So here we are in Long Beach, Long Island, and I'm here with two of my idols, Bobby Farb and Tommy Kovic, and we're celebrating Bobby Farb being inducted into the Circle of Pride. And I am so honored to be here with you. You know, these guys are older than me, like 5 years, but they were inspirations to my gymnastics.
Being inducted into the Oceanside Circle of Pride is fantastic. I mean, I am in the Hall of Fame in the high school there for being the most valuable in gymnastics for 4 years in a row. And I don't think anyone's done that in any sport. But this is a special Hall of Fame, and being inducted and being remembered as an athlete, I couldn't be happier. It's the only thing I think about every day is being an athlete, and I'll never forget it. And it was the greatest. Everyone has said to me, including yourself and Tom, said that was the time of our life. What got me started was my brother introduced me to a recreational gymnastics program in the summer. And when that was over, the coach called my parents and asked if they could, bring me over to the high school and practice with the high school team. And that was just as good as it got. So cool to hang out with older guys, and I learned gymnastics.
I would say that the most memorable moment that I can remember competing with Bobby was the 1972 New York State Championships, where me and Bobby and Victor Randazzo actually became friends.
Well, I think without question, Bobby was the finest gymnast in the country at that time. I mean, he came on like gangbusters. As a ninth grader, he and I went to the state championships in New York, and I watched him win parallel bars, first place as a freshman, which was pretty much unheard of. You could tell early on there was nobody in his league.
But Bobby was naturally talented. He could do circles on the horse. He could do circles on anything, and he was way, way ahead of his time. He had style. Nobody taught him that. It was just natural. The late, great Kurt Thomas said he was the most talented gymnast he ever saw. And in the day, the Japanese were the kings. And for a while, a lot of Americans flew over to Japan and worked out with the Japanese team, and they would take movies of the Japanese. But when Bobby went, the Japanese took photos and movies of him.
My greatest memory, other than becoming state champion in ninth grade, when I was a junior, we had the Long Island Championships, and Suffolk County was good, and Nassau County was very good too. It was pretty much the best in the state. And it was a big meet, and there was a really good all-around guy there, Tommy On, and all the events. Goodman was on floor. I think you were in the meet as well. I mean, everybody was there, and it came out good. It was a good meet for me. I think I did well, and it was a lot of fun. I just remember driving out with my parents and everything. It was just so different back in the day.
So Bob was not a boastful guy. He wasn't, filled with himself. He just worked hard, he competed, and he performed, and he excelled. And even though I would happen to be on the same team with him for 4 years, and would never be at his level, he never made me feel like I was the second-class citizen. We were teammates, always were, and always will be.
Coach Veracruz was, who got me started, was the best. John Keel, who was also a magnificent guy. He'd take us practicing over at the YMCA in Queens and take us to meets in other states. I mean, it wasn't even our coach, but a great guy. And he was built, so when we were practicing with him, of course, you could do whatever you wanted to do, and he would catch you. He was a great guy. I looked at a lot of schools, and, I'd been to Penn State, all through my young years, and I was invited over there. Marshall Avner was my hero, and he invited me to a lot of the meets and, hang out at his apartment. I thought I would go to Penn State, and, I guess I just really wanted to be coached by a Japanese coach at the time. I was invited earlier that year to compete internationally, actually to qualify our team and the Romanian team for the '76 Olympics. You had to qualify as a team. So there was a dual meet between the United States and Romania in Berkeley, California. And it was a great meet. They invited me for that. And that led to a couple other things like the national championships, the USGF nationals. I came in 5th that year, and kind of as a beginner, a friend. So those are pretty good highlights, I think. Some of the thoughts that run in my mind between the gymnastics back in our day and now are that, the equipment is a lot more, I guess, easy for them. Everything's a little bit more givable, the floor exercise, but the apparatus, I think the gymnasts are just incredible on it now. The routines are so long and difficult, and there's no getting around that. I mean, we did it in our day, and it seems like they're just doing the hardest of hardest stuff and long routines and fantastic.
We share some common bonds. We're Long Islanders. We're Nassau County gymnasts. We love high bar. We do a great heck together, you and I.
The best.
Tommy Kovic did one of the first double backs in high school, and he was always like a gutsy, brave gymnast. We didn't have the coaching that they have nowadays. We had to learn things the hard way, watching, going to meets, and learning. And I think it was a great time in gymnastics when there was a lot of high school gymnastic teams, like 15 to 20 Nassau County, 15 to 20 Suffolk County. Then you had upstate New York. So it was the golden era of high school men's gymnastics, I guess, along with a lot of other minor sports. We're here to honor Bobby, and we love him dearly. And I just want to say it's a privilege to just have this conversation and learn a little bit more about their lives, what made them special. And I'm happy that we get to share this time together, and I hope we continue to stay in touch.
Thanks for putting this together, Tom.
Thank you.
I'm nervous up there.
Too humble.